Yeah. 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 Woo. First time, lunging, 6 squat bar. Focusing on, perhaps maybe I shouldn't use my hands to help. Yeah. Let's do the weights first. Okay. 2.5. And a 25 with the 3 plates. So one would do the math, right? That, okay. 315, right? The 315 plus the 25 would make it 365 plus the 2.5, 370. So this, guys, is the biggest safety squat bar you can buy, okay? I ordered this puppy on eBay 3 years ago or so. It's the TDS Mega 92-inch safety squat bar, 75 pounds. I don't know of any bars that are bigger than this. Capacity 1,500 pounds. So yeah, it's a little more expensive, but in my mind it was worth the money because if it can hold 1,500 pounds versus pretty much every other bar out there that has 1,000 capacity, all right, it's the biggest and the baddest. Besides the point, 400 pounds, first day with it. Now I know you guys are gonna be saying, well, Eric, I thought you lunged 745 pounds. All right, here's the difference. Here is the difference, my viewers. Okay? When you hold the rack, okay, what it does is 2 things. Twofold, okay? This bar was designed so essentially when you squat, you can keep yourself in better form and you can pull yourself through your sticking point. So twofold holding the rack. First of all, you can stabilize and have crisp, perfect form with 700 and some pounds on it. Okay, there's that factor. And it takes a lot of your core strength out of it because you're stabilized. Okay, remember that less stability equals less strength. So not holding the rack, now you have to worry about the balance. You have to use a ton more core strength. And other than that too, you can't, right, even if you didn't have to, let's say that you weren't doing, you were hardly, no, that's not what I'm trying to get at. That would be the opposite point, the other point. And the other point is that, so when you're lunging here, the hardest part is going to be just getting off the ground. So here you can kind of pull yourself. You can pull yourself through the sticking point. And the biggest thing for me, guys, is I'm at a point right now where I'm looking for carryover to my other lifts. All right, I want a good Jefferson deadlift. I want a good Zercher deadlift. I want all these things to be good at the same time because now I'm looking for maximum power, the best performance I can possibly deliver in an athletic sense, explosive, powerful. So I used to train, just specialize. I still train in that manner, but before it was like, well, my channel was just getting started. I really had nothing to train for. So basically what I was doing was I was just trying to move the most weight in any way possible back in the day. That's not to say that holding the rack and using the safety squat bar, aka the Dr. Squat Hatfield bar, is a bad. I mean, that is the way it was designed, right? So you can have better form, you can pull yourself through the sticking point, so you can overload the movement like crazy, which is why I was able to do 745 pounds, which still took tremendous amount of strength. I couldn't do that right now because I'm not that strong with the movement right now. And personally, with all the training that I'm doing and everything, I'm not as strong as I was a year ago or whatever. So I still do that. Basically, how I trained today was I did the lunges without holding the rack up to, I attempted 400 and I couldn't get out of the bottom. Like I was stuck there. So I bumped up to 545 pounds and I hit that with the Hatfield style, right? Hands on the rack, pull through the sticking point, and I hit that pretty easily. And then I dropped back down to 400 pounds and it really wasn't bad at all. My back foot even slipped. You know, I'm lunging off of a slippery, dirty floor. So I probably should improve that setup for next time I do it, maybe some rubber matting or something. But nonetheless, I still hit it. I wouldn't say it was easy. I wouldn't say it was super difficult. It was so-so. But that's coming from not being able to do it when I first attempted it. So it just shows some proof. The proof is in the pudding that overloading with a little bit of the cheat, holding the rack, taking some of the stability out of it, pulling through the sticking point, overloading 150 extra pounds and then dropping back down. There's something to that. So I'm going to keep doing that. 745, it's going to be tough to one-up that because I did train that movement for so long back when I was doing that, when I got to that peak. Nonetheless, maybe I can try to improve on that or get close to it. But the biggest goal right now when I'm doing these is really just to do the most I can without holding on. And really the reason I'm doing this in the first place is because I'll tell you guys, there is no better movement for the glutes than doing lunges with the safety squat bar. Because once you get to a certain point, like I did when I first tried 400, I couldn't get it. And then I bumped up an additional 150 pounds. Then I knocked back down so you can overload and you can get back to it so you can move bigger weights. And that way, fire up your nervous system, make it more efficient, whatever, make things feel easier. But also because you can pull through your sticking point. So essentially it's not much different than using a slingshot on your bench or like reverse bands or something along those lines, or chains on like a deadlift or anything. Make the hardest part a little bit easier. And the strength curve, it's a more efficient strength curve in terms of giving you more bang for your buck with hypertrophy and strength. If you guys have never tried these, I can't recommend them enough. I've been doing all these movements like, let's see if the box squat and pin squats and all that carry over to my deadlift variations. And sure, they did, because when I did the Zercher squat, so the deadlift up to the knees and then squatted up, that felt easier than when I was specifically specializing with it. So there has to be some carryover to that. But I haven't done the lunges like this in forever. And back when I used to do them a lot was when I was actually, I would say, at my all-time strongest, when I was doing the the biggest trap bar deadlifts and the biggest behind the back deadlifts. And it wasn't long after that I was doing the huge Jefferson deadlifts as well. So, really, the incredibly strong glutes, that's what's going to keep your back safe. And obviously the leg drive, this lunge is just all leg drive essentially, and it's easier on your lower back, so you can train it more because the mobility is not as much of an issue because it's like that unilateral movement. You have a split stance, so you can keep your torso more upright. All I'm getting at here, guys, is I'm pumped to get back into this. I'm going to test it a couple different ways, and I'm excited to see carryover because everything you do, you should have a plan. Like what's next? That's kind of a trap that I fell in for a while. When I wasn't training for anything in particular, I was like, well, I've plateaued on this and I've plateaued on this and I've plateaued on this. This exercise looks fun. Why don't I specialize in this? But it didn't really have any carryover to anything. An example would be Reeves deadlifts, right? The deadlift itself was very light. Of course, that's not like a 400-pound Reeves deadlift is insanely difficult in terms of your pinch grip, but it's nothing for your actual deadlift. And it's not going to carry over your deadlift variations or your squat variations. You're going to get a stronger pinch grip, but that's about it. So, I'm all for doing what you're going to have the most fun with. Don't be too closed-minded. Do a lot of variations and have fun with that and specialize with that and hit bigger PRs every day. But also have an end game to everything you're doing, not just I'm going to hit, I'm going to put 100 pounds on this exercise. And then after that, I don't quite know. So like for these lunges, the end game is, well, all my deadlift variations should, in theory, improve dramatically because my glutes and your hamstrings as well, like everything, man, it's such a good lower body movement. Plus when you're using the safety squat bar, and guys, when I'm saying these lunges, I'm talking about with the safety squat bar, because lunges with a barbell, I've tried those as well. The stability is too much of a factor because you see, when I'm doing them here, worst case scenario, I can just let go of the handles and then grab onto the rack or something. Like if I feel like I'm losing my balance or whatever it may be. I like walking lunges feel great, but you're walking, you're not in a power rack, and I can't recommend this variation enough. I really can't. And this, a lot of you guys, you love your rack pulls above the knee and all that, and it's not a bad movement. I wouldn't say it's the greatest movement of all time because there's other stuff that I do for my traps and shoulders that actually feel better, and it's not like crippling soreness that I'm feeling afterwards. but like you're getting so much trauma to the muscle fibers because it's just like stretching the, you know, the bejesus out of your traps. Well, essentially, like this is the movement to do that with your glutes and your hamstrings, because you have so much weight that you can very slowly go into the negative portion of the movement, and then to get back up, you can just you can help pull yourself back up. It's not to say that you can pull yourself up unless you're using peanut weight. You still have to use leg drive, but you can pull up a good amount of weight as well, and then you can rep it out again using all that weight to stretch out your glutes and your hamstrings, and then boom, pull yourself back up too. So I really think that this is the absolute best, most effective, most bang for your buck lower body movement, and I'm very excited to see how it carries over to everything else, because that's all this is. Me training, it's just one big experiment. Yeah, I want to have fun, I want to specialize in things and get the biggest numbers I can with particular things, but you know, it's all a little experiment as well. It's the laboratory. What's going to give me the most carryover for this? What's going to give me the most carryover for this? And I feel like that's, you know, if I discover this, I can throw it to you and it helps you guys out, and say you discover something else, and just keep commenting and contribute to the channel and to the community and all that, and the world becomes a better place.